Okay, so for the topics that we talked about, we started off with chapter 1, which was just an invitation to sociology. We defined sociology as the scientific study of social structure. Social structure, which is patterned ways in which people interact in social relationships. We also talked about sociological perspective, which that focuses on like the group level of the interactions of people rather than the personal level of like an individual person, like psychologists focus on. How psychologists want to understand how people are influenced by society and culture, and how vice versa, society and culture are influenced by people. We made a flowchart, the things that make up society. So I chose appearance, class, religion, ethnicity, gender, family, background, and media. I chose gender, appearance, and ethnicity just because that's how people are judged and seen, like in a physical aspect. I chose religion because it kind of has a big thing to do with people's morals and their decisions that they make. And then also, family, background, and class can limit the opportunities that you're given throughout your life. And then I definitely chose media because in my opinion, media has the biggest impact on people. And then we did the founders of sociology. So I just chose a few to talk about. Auguste Comte, the father of sociology, he came up with the term sociology, and he also positivism, which says that we can only say things about sociology that we are sure are scientifically true. And then Karl Marx, he touched into the class conflict, how there was bad blood between the bourgeoisie, which were in charge of producing wealth, and then the proletariat, which were those who worked for them. The proletariat overthrew them, and it led to communism, which has no social classes. And communism, it's perfect on paper. It's a classless society. But once you, like a lot of things, when you throw it into live play, it was just a disaster. And then we talked about the 5 key concepts. Functional integration, which believes every person must work together and do their part for society and everything to run smoothly. We all must be together as one. Culture, which is just all the characteristics of a certain group. Social action is how people are influenced by those and the actions around them and just what they do based on how they want their life to be. Social structure is how people act and why. Social relationships, positions, just the number of people. And then power, which is the authority and dominance one group has over another, and how they act and how they're benefited between the dominants. We also talked about theoretical perspective, which is a set of assumptions about an area of study. There are 3 major ones that are widely used. It was functionalism, conflict theory, and then social interactionism. We went to chapter 4, which is socialization, which is learning to participate in group life, coming through social transmission. So like when you're born and you learn how society works, you learn what to do, what's normal, what's not, how you're supposed to act. And then the importance of socialization, because without it, people don't learn things that we consider basic, walking, talking. They can't be a part of society. They can't love or have relationships or relate in any type of way to people in a normal way. Socialization in the self. We talked about self-image, self-concept, looking glass self. Self-concept is the image of yourself as having an identity different from others. So a kid noticing that whenever they make a scene at a family gathering, they get attention and people start to look at them. We talked about the agents of socialization: family, religion, school, peer group, and media, which is just how peer pressure, an example, how you just, the things that you do, why you do them, like who you get it from, who you see. We talked about the processes of socialization. So desocialization is giving up old views, values, and norms. We talked about how anticipatory socialization is like going into the army, because you have to give up everything that you've done before, and you're gonna start doing new things, and then you would be re-socialized. So re-socialization is grabbing hold of a new way, thinking and adopting in a different way. Then we started to talk about cults. I could not find what chapter that was in, so we did the presentation, so I just chose a couple of them. Heaven's Gate. It was invented by 1975 by Applewhite and his wife. They prepared people for a new life on a spacecraft, and then they did the mass suicide by ingesting poison. I also did the Manson family, the 11 of them. Charles Manson, he ended up dying of a heart attack, but he would just, I actually did my project on this one. He would just order people to go kill people, and he was almost never the one that actually killed them, but he would tell them who to kill. He told them to do it as brutally as they possibly could. It was awful. They would just go into people's houses and kill everyone that they saw. Then we moved on to Sociology of Sports. I'm not sure what chapter that one was in. We talked about how sports have many positives and negatives. They have teamwork. You can build friendships, staying in shape, athletic ability. We also talked about how it can be negative because of the pressures that can be put on you through yourself, coaches, parents, friends, just how it can kind of overturn your thoughts if you really put that much thought into it. Then we talked about minorities in baseball. We watched the two movies, A League of Their Own and 42. A League of Their Own was about the women who were brought in to the softball or baseball for entertainment and money. They were mistreated. People would yell like hurtful things at them. They had to go to etiquette school to learn how to be proper women. It was crazy. And how then eventually whenever all the men came back, they were just about to be kicked out. Also 42 about Jackie Robinson, how he was mistreated, how he wasn't able to stay in some hotels, just people would yell hurtful things, even more hurtful things at him, and how they overcame it, how they all persevered. And then we moved on to chapter 3, culture, which is, again, the language, values, customs, and the objects in an area which distinguish it from other parts in the world. There's the physical objects that are passed down, and then the intangible things. We talked about sociobiology, how it's how sociology and like how people act are passed down genetically. And then we said that was it was kind of a conflicting topic because people would use that to say that that one race was superior to another. Then we talked about gender. We watched the two movies Mona Lisa Smile and Hidden Figures. Mona Lisa Smile was about the teacher, Catherine, I believe, that didn't follow tradition. She was trying to teach the girls to do things on their own, to she told one girl to go to law school, marry when she thought she was ready. She was setting an example of not being married. And then Hidden Figures, the ladies that worked for NASA, they were mistreated. For example, they had to leave the property to just use the restroom. So that was the topics that we went over, just summarized. My favorite topic was the gender, the Mona Lisa Smile, and the Hidden Figures, just because I think that is something that's really important, because that's something that still happens today. And I think that if we don't talk about that in school, if we don't talk about that in this class, then if we just don't even bring it up and it's just the elephant in the room, then I think that we're just as bad as the people that are actually mistreating the people if we don't bring it up. I also like this because it teaches the girls, like, for example, Mona Lisa Smile, I really like that movie. It taught girls that you need to have your own, path in life, not just to marry a rich guy and stuff. I also like this part because I like to watch movies. The things I liked about this class, I liked how we did the notes on the board. Like, you would tell us the important stuff to write down, because it was a lot easier to do that than just taking random notes off of a video or off of the textbook, because that would it wouldn't be as useful to study during the tests, or just getting them from a video. It also made it easy to make this and to find everything that we've been through. And for what I didn't like, I had a tough time coming up with this one. I thought it was a good balance between the fun projects, like the first world problems. We did like so many different things. We did the flow charts, like the mural drawings, and then we did just like the cult projects with partners. I thought it was all a good balance. Personally, I just thought the cult projects were long and dragging because like everybody doubled up on a cult. Again, it wasn't horrible. I couldn't really come up with anything for this part. I thought everything was fine, the way we did the notes and the tests and everything. Thought it was a good year, and I couldn't really think of anything that I wanted to change for it.